Thanks, Fatima. She's our mentor group this year in my group, and I'm doing the TWS this year, and she's in my group, so yay! Yay! She's kind of like an Italian mother, you know. You look hungry. You need to eat.
Good man, sister.
Thank you.
So I grew up in Alberta, and when I was growing up, I had this kind of misty-eyed feeling about BC, like it was kind of mysterious. So the piece I'm going to read tonight is a little bit about first experience here in BC and some of the characters that were there. This one's called Always Honk. Always Honk. I met Larry in a cloud of dust on the side of a dry gravel road beside a river. Together, we lifted river rafts onto the trailer behind a rusty old Dodge that he drove for the rafting trip I was guiding. That was my first trip on the Chilko River, and the guys I worked with relied on Larry every season to drop the boats off at the put-in and pick them up at the end. In the autumn after the rafting season, I hung out with Larry at his plywood shack east of Williams Lake. He called it the Hippie Palace. Larry was a bush hippie, never fit in anywhere, and I guess he learned how to get by with little, like jobs. He was pushing mid-50s, and I said I was half his age, and for some reason he liked me. I told him one time that I grew up urban and middle-class comfortable, and that I was looking for something different. And after a few beers, he called me a wannabe hippie. He always talked about money, how he never had much. And I felt obligated to buy the food and beer when I was at his place. But I didn't mind, because being there was like a taste of life I think I wanted. But I was about as far away from being a hippie as you could get. Clean cut and respectful of authority. But being with Larry was like trying on a new set of clothes for a while. One frosty October morning, Larry leans against the rear door of the palace, arms folded, watching me split kindling. He says, "Split them thinner, will you?" I look up, feel the flesh in my face. "Okay, boss. I don't mind. I'm happy here. Kind of like a back to the lander with the axe, the wood smoke, and the silence." But after a few days of proving who we are to each other, we decided to take a trip west on the Chilko Highway. Calling it was a highway was wishful thinking, because in those days, in the early 80s, it was just a bumpy excuse to connect ranchers and reservations. Larry rode shotgun in my '73 Volkswagen van with 2 sleeping bags, 2 backpacks, and 2 days. We roll west of Williams Lake, and after dipping down through the deep Fraser Gorge, we climb up onto the high Chilcotin Plateau. Off in the distance are the white peaks of the Coast Mountains, jutting up like saw teeth. After an hour of bumping along past miles of fences built on pine poles, Larry says, "Slow down, I have a friend here. Let's stop and say hello." He points to a smokestack poking out of the forest. I gear down, roll over a cattle guard, and turn into a 2-wheel track towards a cabin in a clearing. Larry says, "This is Blaze's place. He came up here in the '70s. Draft dodger?" I asked. "Yep," Larry says. Never know what he's going to be like. He's alone, so sometimes he gets a little flippy." Larry met Blaze at the Williams Lake Rodeo a couple of years ago. He told me that he made some money from his art. Pencil drawings and acrylic paintings, mostly of cowboys and Indians in the Chilcotin. The Williams Lake Rodeo used one of his paintings as a promotional poster. The painting was of a rodeo clown protecting a cowboy from a bronco, and the clown was Blaze. It was Larry's pride and glory, but mostly he grumbled about how galleries in the town wouldn't show his work. Larry said, "Blaze ain't no clown, unless of course he's been smoking a lot of pot, and he's often stoned." We pull in and park my van beside a broken down cowboy wagon. Two twisted wagon wheels lean against the wagon. Larry nods towards the wagon. Blaze collects shit. And he means to fix it up, but, well, you can see for yourself. There's a billow of wood smoke puffing from the stack in the log cabin. The white chink contrasts the dark, weathered logs. The roof has asphalt shingles and lime green moss grows on the gabled edges. Large tall pine branches cast a shadow across Larry's pockmarked face. We get out of the van and hear a harsh, rapid chatter above us. Hee-gee! 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 That's a northern oriole, I claim a little too proudly. I question my certainty, but let it be. Hope he'd never know anyway. He looks up and then back at me squinting. Maybe that's Blaze's warning bird. You don't like company much. Does he know we're coming? He shakes his head at me as if that was a stupid question. I don't know what Blaze knows. Larry tells me that Blaze built this cabin by himself in 1972. He didn't know anything about building. He got a letter from the U.S. Army one afternoon, and the next morning he bolted north from Texas. Larry told me that Blaze had heard that there was lots of space out here, and he's been squatting ever since. As we approach the cabin, we hear a shuffle inside, and the door swings open with a slow creak. Blaze yells from inside the shadows, "I told you, you son of a bitch, you're supposed to honk!" We stop, and Larry says, "I'm with another guy, Blaze. He's good." Larry whispers, "He's a bit paranoid." He don't like surprises. I got here one time to the barrel of a gun. We stand in the tall grass, 20 feet from the porch. I hear a truck passing a gravel road behind us in the distance. There's clear sky above, and bright sun dapples on the side of the cabin. We see a shadow of Blaze through the window, and he yells, "I told you to come alone! You're supposed to be here last week!" Softly I say, maybe we should just leave, Larry. I mean, this wasn't the plan, was it? Larry ignores me and looks towards the cabin. "Blaze, I brought you a bag. I'll leave it on the steps. Honk the frickin' horn next time!" Larry nods, looking toward the ground. "Okay, next time. I'll be out next month." He looks to me as we walk back to the van. He's usually not that nasty. I forgot about honking. I should have told you. We stand beside my van. A warm breeze lifts the collar of Larry's nylon jacket as he reaches for a cigarette pack. He slowly draws one out, taps the pack on the roof of the van, and places it slowly in his lips with a stick index finger and thumb. There's a flick of a bit lighter, then he sucks in the smoke deeply, and he blows it out through his nose as he shakes his head looking at the ground. "Hee-gee! Hee-gee! Hee-gee!" We both look up for the bird. Then we climb in the van. I turn the key and I look at him. "I didn't know you were a supplier." He stops rustling with the seatbelt, looks at me, eyes narrowed. "Yeah, I didn't know you were a goddamn bird watcher."